it's Cynthia Barnes, founder and CEO of the National Association of Women Sales Professionals, here with Miss Bridgett McGowan Hawkins. And I am so delighted. I've been waiting for this webinar for ever since we set it up. You are in for a treat today. And without further ado, Bridgett, please tell us about yourself.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you, Cynthia, for making the time. I know you are incredibly busy, but if you're listening, you get it. We're all incredibly busy. So
Indeed.
Thank you to you and to your tremendous organization, the National Association of Women Sales Professionals, for putting this together. My name is Bridgett McGowan. I am an awarded international professional speaker. And when I'm not on a stage or behind a microphone, well, I am coaching women on how to take their voices to another level and be totally dynamic.
Awesome. Awesome. So how did you get started with this? Give us a little background on what you did and what you currently do. And yeah, how did you get started?
Cynthia, let me tell you, it all started in elementary school.
Okay.
Right, I know. Bridgett, where are you going with this? Do you remember that little box? And I'm old school. We got physical report cards, hardback report cards. There was a little comment section from the teacher, and you were really hoping you would get a good comment from the teacher.
I know where you're going with this. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Every grading period I received talks too much.
Yep.
Hands down.
Refrains from needless talking. That was mine.
It was so hard. I had so much to say.
I know.
Back in the day, nobody wanted to hear it.
Nope.
Especially the teacher. Seriously speaking, I got started as an educator, believe it or not. Back in 2002, I started teaching for a community college system in the Houston area. It's now called Lone Star College System. And then I went and taught for my alma mater. It's part of the Texas A&M University system, Prairie View A&M University. And I also taught online for a proprietary school. And I loved getting in front of a room and changing lives, essentially, or at least planting nuggets that would get people thinking differently. I started doing faculty development while I was at Prairie View A&M, and then I transitioned into being a consultant at an educational technology company where I was traveling from here, there, and everywhere in between. I'm talking about towns you've never heard of, you didn't even know were on the map, and met some of the most lovely people you can find on the planet, where I was doing faculty development and professional development at all different kinds of colleges and universities. Well, one thing led to another, and change happens. It's inevitable.
Right. It does.
And that ed tech company was undergoing a lot of change. We got a new CEO, and all kinds of things were just different. And one thing that changed was the division I was working in. And one thing led to the next, and I started my own company in 2016.
Good for you.
Yes, it's been exhilarating, where now I do professional development and presentation skills coaching everywhere.
Good. So if you had to pinpoint one thing that inspired you to, I know you have the background for it, but when you said, I'm going to start my own business, I'm going to go out on my own, you could have taken a myriad of different paths. What said to you, I need to be an entrepreneur?
I am trying to think if there was something that just came down this moment. And there was. I won't get all into it, because then I'll get all churchy on you and Bible on you, and I don't want to do that to you. But I did have a moment on a Sunday where I was just told to go for it, essentially. Of course, there were conversations with friends, there were conversations with colleagues, of course, with my husband.
Sure.
But we stepped back and we said, can you do this? And we looked at the industry. We looked at people who had done it. We looked at the fact that this is a viable industry, a viable profession. People will pay for this. And I had proof of concept. People had contacted me, and I had text to prove it, that people would pay for it. And so I said, You know, Bridgett, for many years, you have gotten up before the crack of dawn. You've worked tirelessly. You hate hearing that phrase, but you work tirelessly. And
Sure.
you give your all and you give 100% to someone else. Why not give 100% to yourself?
Self.
There you go.
Self.
So it was just a, why not do it? Why not try it? You do not want to look 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, look back and say, I wonder what if I had
What if
done
I
this,
had?
that, or the other. You don't want regrets. And
Exactly.
I just said, let's do it. Let's go for it.
Why not? Why not? Sometimes you just have to leap and grow wings on the way down. Yeah.
That's it. Or another airborne analogy. It's kind of like building the plane while you're flying it.
While you're flying. That's the true definition of necessity. Yes.
Yes, but you just make it happen, and you take cues from smart people and successful people. You build a network. You have people you can call and say, "What do I do?" Or "Does this
Exactly.
make sense?" Or "Should I try this?"
Sure.
And you have time alone with yourself and really evaluate what's working and what's not. And I'll talk more about what's working and what's not in other stages.
Okay. Okay. I'm sure you have a network of cheerleaders. Who was the first person that ever believed in you?
My husband has always believed in me, so I do not want to reduce or minimize that fact when I give the rest of my answer. He has been there day one, no matter what idea I present to him. I am not kidding you, Cynthia. I've never seen anyone so supportive. No matter what idea I take to him, I say, Aaron, I'm thinking about this, or I was wondering about this. And he'll say, well, let's look into it. Let's give it a try. So he's been fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
Fantastic. The person who planted the idea, Cynthia, is Kyla Givehand. She is
Okay.
the wife of a former coworker of mine when I was at that educational technology company.
Really?
She saw me present at a conference in New Orleans in 2012.
Okay.
She immediately came up to me. She'd never seen me present before. Her husband and I had been working together maybe about a year and a half at that point. And so we all knew each other. I loved that team. We all know each other's spouses and children, and how's Robbie doing in school, and how's, it's a lovely little clan we have
Nice.
when we were coworkers at that company. So she knew we worked together. She knew what we did. We all did presentations around the country, but she came to me after that presentation at that conference and said, Bridgett, you should do this. Like you could do this for a living. You could. So 4 years later, in 2016, I hear her voice in my head. At the time, I said, okay, yeah, right, whatever, Kyla.
You weren't ready. Okay.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're just extra pumped. The session was fun. We had a good time at the conference. You're just a little over enthusiastic right now. But okay, whatever. But 4 years later, when I found myself in a position where I could seriously explore that, I called her up and said, Kyla, I think you're right. And what should I do first? And she's a business strategist, so she
Oh,
knows.
nice. Okay.
But she's part of that network too. But I have to tell you, Kyla was the first one who said, yeah, girlfriend, you should do this.
So it's one thing for someone to believe in you. It's another for you to believe in yourself. What was that tipping point or that moment when you said, I'm onto something, and not just onto something, but I'm onto something special?
I don't know if there was just one point, Cynthia.
Okay.
I'll probably give you a couple of points. One is when people, after my presentations, would come up to me and say, that was great, that was amazing, you made me think about some things I had not thought of, and so on and so forth. Another was when I would have people, not days later, weeks later, months later, but years later.
Wow.
Remember, yes, it gives me chills because I focus first on serving. I focus first on helping people have transformations when they listen to me speak. So I would have people years after a presentation remembering remembering me or remembering the presentation. And it didn't matter to me if they remembered me or my name, but if they remembered the feeling that I gave them.
Yes. Yes.
If they remember this energy that they got from the session, if
Right.
they left the session saying, I want to go do something, I don't know what it is.
Yes. I'm inspired. Yes.
I am inspired. I am on fire. So that was the second one. And then the third one was event contacts reaching out to me, asking me to come back again and again. Not just, oh, that was nice. Well, thank you. Have a good life. But I'll have people reaching out saying, we want to see you again. We want to hear you again. Our team loved you. And Cynthia, you know, it is so special and such an honor when someone trusts you enough to put their team, to put his team, her team in your hands for whether it's 60 minutes, 90 minutes, a half a day, that they trust you with that precious piece of their company for you to mold them and to motivate them. So seeing the transformation in my audiences, having people contact me long after I presented, and then people trusting me time and time again with some of their most precious resources, their team members.
I get that. I get that. How do you define success for yourself?
A lot of people define it by dollars and cents and how many numbers are in the bank account and so on and so forth. And that is part of the definition. But when you focus on serving, I've said it before, I'll say it over and over again, but when you focus on serving and when you focus on truly making a difference for someone and making people realize, or not making people, but positioning people and empowering people to realize their impact, that every single voice matters. When I can go to bed at night knowing I put a smile on someone's face, I made someone say, oh, that's cool, or just knowing that I didn't wake up and waste my 24 hours is successful to me. When I think about doing something new, doing something creative, spending time with others, uplifting others, that spells success for me. I was talking with a marketing expert in the Phoenix area earlier this week, a couple of days ago. We had a lovely conversation, and she brought this up to me. It's a quote, and she was paraphrasing Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah essentially says, when you focus on putting people first, when you focus on giving people your best and serving them, not focusing on what you're going to make, the dollar, the paycheck, then that is when you are successful. The money will come later. So I'm totally messing up. Oprah, I am sorry if you're listening to this.
She will be. She will be.
I'm sorry I'm messing up your quote, but the essence of it is when you focus on building up others, the bank account will build up itself. When you focus on putting passion first, then the paychecks will come along.
Amen to that.
And on and on. So for me, success is focusing on how can I make somebody better today? How can I make somebody go to sleep tonight and say to themselves, today was a good day because I did something differently and I was inspired in some small way, possibly, maybe by Bridgett.
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that. I'd like to get into your skill set, your talents, and how women in sales can maximize those skills. For example, you are a professional coach that helps people speak better. And there is, one of the books I recommend is Pitch Perfect. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. So in that, a lot of people hear me speak and they say, Cynthia, I'm sure that you're a great sales professional because you are eloquent and articulate and all of that good stuff. How do I get to that point? So what would you recommend? First of all, do you agree that it's not what you say, but how you say it? That's question number one. And number two, how does someone get to the point where they are eloquent and articulate, so to speak?
Fantastic questions. It is not just what you say, but how you say it. And there are 4 pillars on which I like to operate when I work with women. And that is You making sure that you understand how you sound, how you look, what you say, and how you say it. Those are those 4 pillars. So it's not just trying to figure out the words. Anyone can be a wordsmith. Anyone can write out scripts. But are you putting the right emphasis in the right place? Are you using the right words? Forget about putting emphasis in the right place and using the right volume and the right pitch and so on and so forth, but understanding what words to use at the right time. And is it appropriate to do this now? And do you do something later? And then also recognizing, and I'll talk more about this, just some nuances of speech, some challenges you have where maybe you are saying the right things, but because of certain, we'll say, I don't want to call them challenges, but certain nuances you have to your speech that detract from the power of your message. So when you understand that it's more than just having down a script, but understanding exactly how you're going to convey it, with what body language, with what gestures, with what tone, what speed, what volume, and you pull all of that together, then you're a winner. Now, your second question was how do you help me with that one? My apologies. I got so into
how do I get, why do I want to bother sharpening my public speaking, and why?
Why should you bother with sharpening your public speaking? Your voice, your mouthpiece is the one marketing tool that you always have with you. You know, we've all done it. I did it last week when I went to make a presentation. I forgot my business cards. I had a few in my business card holder in my tote bag, but I didn't replenish the stock because I knew I was going to a conference, hundreds of people. I needed to have my business card. And I was so bummed. I realized it when I got about 10 minutes from the venue. This is the one thing you don't have to remember to take with you when you leave the house.
Right.
It's not, I forgot those business cards. I forgot those marketing brochures and so on and so forth. Knowing that this is your most valuable marketing tool, effective communication is one of your most prized possessions as a professional. If you know how to speak using your ideal speaking voice, if you know how to command audiences, how to get people to lean in, how to draw in listeners, how to effectively address people when they are naysayers, when they have ideas counter to your ideas, when you know how to fully command a room with your voice, you are unstoppable, period.
Awesome. So let's talk about the differences between women and men. Are there differences that you see when it comes to our authentic voice, speaking, presentation?
There are huge differences. People will often ask me, why do I prefer to coach women? I'll speak to any audience, but I prefer to coach women. And it's because men tend to already show up to the game with advantage after advantage after advantage that women don't always have. One, I notice, and we all know this, men's voices tend to naturally have a lower octave. The tone is a lower and more measured tone. And that tends to command respect more quickly, more readily than a woman's tone.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. The other thing
write that down.
But it does. And I will give you the perfect example of this. I attended a networking event last evening. The first person on the microphone was a woman. Very nice, lovely voice, clear message. There shouldn't have been a problem. However, there was. One, the room and the design of the room allowed for acoustics that just were not advantageous.
Okay.
And then the other part was we had people with libations. There were hundreds of people in the room. People are mixing and mingling. The
Sure.
event started at 5, and at this point it's about 5:30, 5:45, something like that. People have started conversations, and nobody remembers what we're there for. We were there to watch some local business owners receive awards, and so they're trying to get the program underway. So the lady takes to the microphone, lovely lady, but hardly anyone in the room was paying attention. And you could barely hear her, although they had a lovely sound system, you could barely hear her over the din of noise from all of the conversations. Shortly thereafter, a man took the microphone. His volume was not really any different from hers. His articulation was no different from hers. They were both well-spoken people, so on and so forth. The room got quieter when he started to speak. So I said, okay, well, yeah, maybe they're starting to get the message. But then the microphone was given to a different woman, and we saw the same thing as we saw with the first woman. All of a sudden, the noise turned up. I wish I had recorded it. The noise
Really?
turned back up. It's interesting. We pay more attention. There's psychology behind it. We pay, even with babies, paying attention to certain voices or certain voices resonating more with them than others. Babies always love the sound of their mother's voice, but a male voice has a deeper resonance with a person. And it goes from, 1 day old to 100 years old. And I saw that in action at that event last night. So men, they can command a room better when they speak just by having that deeper voice. A second advantage, and then I'll stop, because as you can tell, I could go on and on about this.
This is fascinating.
A second advantage, and there's psychology behind this, men's stature tends to be more commanding, and there's more of a presence about them. Men tend to, especially at professional events, tend to wear sleeves all of the time. Women, and I'm in the Phoenix area, in the summertime are more prone to wear sleeveless outfits, even if it's a professional looking dress. But men and their stature and the way they automatically dress can lend support to more attention being paid to them and them being able to command the room. So what we do is we pick up on cues for what works well. I'm not saying talk like a man, think like a woman or anything like that.
Right.
But I'm saying there's some cues there where there are some differences in voice quality, and how we command the room differently.
So what you're saying is that it's more than just adding bass to your voice.
It's more than just adding bass to your voice. It's finding your ideal speaking voice and making sure, I'm about to go into coaching mode, Cynthia, making sure you are speaking from the abdomen and not speaking from the head.
Sure.
A lot of times women's tone is very nasally and very high pitched.
Yes.
And that does not resonate as well. It doesn't sound synonymous with authority, control, seriousness. I want to do business with that person. They don't align when you're speaking using the nasal cavity or just speaking from your head. But when you speak from the abdomen, that's a whole nother story. And you understand the breathing that's associated with it. And So if
I'm on the phone and someone can't see me, I could be dressed to the nines. I have on my suit. If my voice is not from the abdomen and it's not my authentic voice, it's over.
It can be over. It absolutely can be over. You're not doing yourself any favors. And when I say speak from the abdomen, a lot of times when people take a deep breath, you see those shoulders go up. Well, that's a sign that you're feeling your lungs and you're not feeling the abdomen. So when you feel that abdomen, your stomach, your tummy area should expand. You want to feel that up and speak from the abdomen. Let that air come from down there, and then your words float on that air that's coming from the abdomen. That's shallow breath when you feel the lungs and you speak from there. And like you said, you can be dressed to the nines, but if you're on that phone call and you are not paying attention to what you're saying and how you sound, then it could be game over. You've disengaged your listener.
Sure.
It's like you said, game over.
Right. A lot of our sales professionals in our organization are SDRs, they're sales development representatives, or BDRs, business development representatives, and they make 100 phone calls a day. And a lot of times I can see how the presence is just as important as the delivery of what you
Yes.
are saying. It's yeah, that we need to do a webinar on that. Huh. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And here's a
Yes.
quick tip. Here's a
Okay.
quick tip for all of you sales ladies out there. When you have to get on calls, if you can, stand and do those calls. Do not sit and do
Okay.
those calls. Stand. And we can talk about what is and why I reckon that. There's your tip.
Okay. Okay. Give it to me one more time because I think the computer froze. Give it to us one more time.
Oh, stand and do your phone calls. If you can, please stand and conduct your phone calls. Do not sit. And we can talk offline a little bit more about why you should not sit and the difference it makes when you stand. There are
Nice.
so many factors involved with standing
Wow.
while you're doing those calls. It makes a difference.
Okay. Okay. So how can honing this skill change my life? Not just my ability to relate to my prospects and customers, but give me some examples of how it changes my overall life.
You're not scared to speak up. You're not scared to voice your opinion. You don't have a fear if you're in a sea of competitors because you know how to use your voice and stand out and speak up and be seen and heard. It removes a fear. It gets rid of jitters. It builds your confidence. If
Yes.
you focus on not just waiting until game day, not just waiting until a presentation to work on those presentation skills, but if you constantly work on them, and that's actually one of my tips, so you'll hear it again. When you constantly work on those presentation skills, it just creates a different person in you. All of a sudden, people will take notice when you start honing your presentation skills or just your communication skills overall. You become more marketable. You become you are all of a sudden seen as the one to promote because you have a control over your language. You know how to speak with presence, whether it's executive presence or any other kind of presence that you want to exude, but you understand that and then you know how to deliver. It makes the biggest difference in the world. You are increasing your marketability or improving your marketability. You are seen as someone who can do just more than just one thing, but you can do all kinds of things when you use that voice and you train it and you get it where it needs to be in order for you to shine like a superstar.
So you mentioned presence, and that is something that I have seen the women sales professionals in our organization struggle with as a huge challenge, is having presence. For example, if you're small of stature, you have a voice that doesn't resonate, you sometimes become invisible. So if I hear what you're saying, by developing a presence, being able to walk into a room and have that presence, it's going to carry you further than the words that you say.
Absolutely. When you think about networking events you attend, you're one in a crowd of hundreds, if not thousands, depending on the venue, the organization, and so on. And how do you stand out? Because you're not going to get around to speaking to all of those people so they can hear how dynamite you are and see what fabulous ideas or hear what fabulous ideas you have. Body language alone, regardless of how tall or how short you are, I want you, no matter where you go, to walk with your head always up. And I don't care what you have on, because I want you to make it a practice. If you are going to the grocery store, going to the yoga studio, it doesn't matter. Always walk with your head up and your shoulders back and your eyes laser focused. Look around and walk with purpose. Make it clear, I know where I'm going, even if you don't know where you're going. Make it seem like you know where you're going. You know what you're
Absolutely.
doing. You're on a mission. I want you to think like that all of the time. And that just becomes your signature stride. That becomes
Right.
your signature persona when you
Okay.
always have that head up and you always have your shoulders back and you always look like you are ready for anything. And then greet everyone silently or verbally with a smile. Make
Okay.
it look like you would not rather be, and you don't want to be anywhere else than where you are right now. And with all of these people, and uplift people every single time you talk to people. Tell them how fabulous the place is, how great the venue is, how
Right.
amazing the work it is that they do. You see, when you elevate others, then you end up elevating yourself. When you put others in the spotlight, you end up being the one who's in the spotlight. So constantly, I mean this. I do this walking to the mailbox, my head up, shoulders back, strolling to the mailbox, like
Yes.
I'm going somewhere really important. But when you make it a practice, it becomes so easy, it becomes so natural, and then you become associated with power and authority, no matter how short or tall you are.
Yes. So walking with intent and purpose, I can see how that would draw people to you and make you a magnet. And one of our favorite phrases is, be a magnet, not a microphone, and draw people to you. I can see how that is crucial in that. I can see it. So one of the last questions I have for you is, what are, 3 ways in which people can, or women specifically, can improve their public speaking skills, specifically if they are presenting live to a prospect?
Sure. 3 ways that women can improve their public speaking or just overall communication skills is, 1, to identify and fully understand what's working and what is not working with their current style of communication.
Okay.
Is it your body language? Do you use too many filler words like so, like,
Yes.
Do you use words that are not power words, but that are wimpy words? Another challenge you might see with your speech as you're evaluating what needs to get some improvement massaged upon it is uptalk. This is where that you end each statement with it sounds like a question.
Give us an
It's
example.
also called high rising terminal or uptalk. What was that, Cynthia?
Give me an example.
Sure. And I sound so silly when I'm trying to do it, but let me just try it.
Okay.
I went to an event last night and it was a lot of fun and I met so many people. It sounds corny coming from me.
It's like, it's constantly rising. Yeah, I get it.
But you've heard people do it. And it's not just women either. Men do it too. I've heard men do it. And we do it because we want to sound friendly. We also want, it's our silent way of saying, are you picking up what I'm putting down? And hoping you're liking what I'm saying. That's what it equates to. And as opposed to doing that, just state make the statement and pay attention to that voice staying even or staying low. But think about what is not working with your speech and take an honest evaluation, do an honest assessment and determine exactly what's working and what's not working. That's number 1. Number 2 is set out to fix it. Decide that you are not going to wait until game day. And I say game day as being when you've got this big presentation, you've got this important pitch, you've got this all-important demo that you need to make for a prospective client. That's game day. Do not wait until then or 2 or 3 days before then to work on your communication skills, to work on your presentation skills. You should set out to fix them on a daily basis. Whether you are talking to the teller at the bank, the clerk at the grocery store, the barista at the local coffee shop, every single time you have a conversation, make it a presentation. Every conversation needs to be a presentation. And
that's
what I mean by that, what did you say, Cynthia?
That's a tweetable moment.
There you go. And what I mean by that is when you get ready to make a presentation, you are thinking about voice and tone and pitch and body language and making sure the words are coming out right and making sure you are articulate and that you are saying something that's going to resonate with your audience and that you're uplifting the crowd. Do all of that with every conversation you have. Practice using your ideal speaking voice.
Okay.
Get rid of the verbal segregators or the filler words, the uhs and the ums. Every time you talk, don't just wait until a microphone is in front of you.
Exactly.
Don't wait until game day to make your voice magical and to work on your communication.
Okay.
The third tip is get yourself a coach. Make sure it is someone with whom you connect. But if you're going to speak and you need to use communication as a vital part of your business and part of the work you do, you need to have a coach, because this is an expert who is going to help you get crystal clear on what is working and what is not working.
Sure.
You see, a lot of times we'll practice presentations by getting in front of family and friends and coworkers, and they're very sweet to us, right, Cynthia?
Yes,
absolutely. They do not have the expertise or the heart to tell you where you're going wrong.
Right.
Much of it is the expertise. A lot of it is the heart, but much of it is the expertise. They just don't have it. A coach can tell you what's not working, but most importantly, a coach can create for you a plan, a personal plan. And I'm telling you, when you're looking for a coach, find someone who's not going to shove you into some kind of a cookie cutter situation, but someone who is going to sit down, evaluate your speaking, listen to you present, watch everything, and then give you an analysis of what's working, what's not working. And then here is a tailored strategy for what to do next to fix this. And it should be a strategy where you could implement it on your own or with the assistance of a coach. But I highly recommend a coach as my third tip. And it doesn't have to be me, but find someone, I'm serious, find someone who does this well, and can tell you exactly how to skyrocket your communication skills.
So for those who are looking to take it to the next level, and let's say that they're on this call and they say, you know what, I want to work with Bridgett, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure, very easily. Visit my website, bmctalks.com, bmctalks.com. And you can reach me there. We can set up a 30-minute call just to see what's going on with you. What are your goals? What do you want to do differently? No obligation, no pressure, none of that. But that is the best way to reach me, is to reach out to my website, bmctalks.com.
Okay, spell it out for us one more time.
Absolutely. B as in Bridget, M as in Mary, C as in Charlie, talks. talks.com.
Okay, very good. And we're doing another webinar on January the 10th, 2 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern. And the title is Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Great. Expert Presentation Skills Revealed. So for women in sales who want to take it to the next level, and 2019, you know, is going to be your year, join us, 2 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern. You have 2 opportunities. So if you feel that your voice gets lost in a sea of competitors, even if you're a veteran in the business, you definitely need to join us for this webinar with the unparalleled experience of Miss Bridgett McGowan. I thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our audience with today?
Never let anyone see you sweat. It doesn't matter what's happening behind the scenes. You got lost trying to get to the presentation site. You broke your heel. The technology doesn't work. It does not matter. You forgot your business cards. None of that matters. Never let them see you sweat.
Perfect. Perfect. This has been, I even took a page full of notes. So I am so glad that we had this opportunity. Thank you. I know that our community is going to be ecstatic to watch this. Thank you so much. And we will see each other on the 10th. And NAWSP is having a conference September of 2019, and you have to be one of our speakers.
Done. Done. I'm blocking off the entire month.
Great. I will get you the details and post them. And you have to be there. I have learned so much. You have to be there. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Cynthia. This was incredible, and I cannot wait for the webinar. It is going to be explosive.
Oh, I am excited. I wish I could do it now, but I've taken notes and I'm going to start breathing from my abdomen.
There you go.
Walking with intent and purpose. Yes. Miss Bridgett, thank you so much for your time and your expertise and sharing with your servant's heart. On behalf of NAWSP, we appreciate you.
Thank you.